Here are the stories we're working on in the BNN Bloomberg newsroom. After what seemed like endless arguments and a grueling session on Capitol Hill, the U.S. House has passed the One Big Beautiful Bill. It is an enormous tax cut and spending package that represents a pillar of Donald Trump's agenda. The bill passed by a vote of 218 to 214. Trump had given the Republican-controlled Congress a deadline of July 4th to get a final version of the bill to his desk to get signed into law. Canada sending less to the U.S. It was 68% of Canadian exports in May, down from nearly 76% last year. Shipments to other countries reached a record high. That was driven by gold exports. Statistics Canada says those non-U.S. trades helped bring down a record trade deficit in May. Shares of NuVista Energy trading lower today. The Calgary Oil and Gas Company has lowered its annual production outlook as it deals with ongoing delays to its Pipestone gas plant and Wapiti projects in Alberta. NuVista now expects 83,000 barrels of oil equivalent per day, a hit of roughly 10,000 barrels. Both facilities are expected to be running by September. And Bloomberg News reporting that aluminum maker Aluminerie Alouette will commit as much as $1.5 billion to modernizing facilities in Quebec. The company, which is partially owned by Rio Tinto, has signed a new electricity supply deal with Hydro-Quebec. A spokesperson for Aluminerie Alouette says an official announcement will come on Friday. The TSX continues its rally, surpassing a record high of 27,000. Let's get some perspective on what is fueling all of this from Matt Kacur. He's the president of FSA Valuation. Matt, thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Okay, so what is bringing this momentum to the markets? We've seen this upward trend pushing past record high time and time again, especially on the TSX. But we still know that backdrop of tariffs and geopolitical messiness is there. So how do you explain this? Well,
I mean, there's a lot to it. Do you want to focus on Canada for a minute?
Let's focus on Canada first.
Okay. So I think when all this tariff stuff was coming down, is it really going to happen? Is it not going to happen? There was obviously a little bit of a pullback there. And it was tough to understand what was going on. And definitely had to think, though, I was really starting to buy Canada then. Because I felt like we had some agency, like we had the ability to go to other markets, to go to Europe and go to Asia. The Trans Mountain Pipeline had kind of just been finished, and we were able to ship some things to Japan, I think was the first one.
LNG was getting on.
LNG. Yep. And there was certainly just a political momentum to open up our markets to other places. So that was, I think, number one, that helped out Canada. Number two is the gold trade obviously came into play as well. Weakening Canadian or U.S. dollars, excuse me, is a lot of central banks sold U.S. dollars to buy gold, so gold was going up, which is a huge part of our market. So those, I think are the two big ones, and the rest of our other sectors are still pretty good too. So there's not a lot of weak sectors in Canada.
Okay, let's turn our attention to the U.S. because they had to catch up a little bit. They weren't getting to the highs the TSX was hitting earlier on, but now they are. What do you see happening there? Yeah,
so I think the U.S. had a self-inflicted wound there. They did not need to do this, in my opinion, with the tariffs. So obviously, market goes down, but it did not really affect IT that much. Even though the IT did get hit quite a bit, there's not a lot of tariffs on an IT, like a platform, a piece of software. It's more about goods, right? It's goods and services that are going across the border. So that took a hit, but kind of realized, and a couple of really good quarters from some of the big names too. And it was just, okay.
In tech specifically?
In tech specifically, yes. Like the Magnificent Seven are still doing, fabulously well. Each quarter that came in, despite all the tariffs and stuff, although, that's obviously down the road if things continue this way. But the earnings were just too good to ignore, and you just had to get back in.
Okay, so let's talk about the second half of the year, because many are saying that's when we'll see the effects of the tariff really poke through. Do you feel the same? What does that second half look like?
I'm actually not that worried. I think there's enough political pressure around the world, not just on the U.S., to get some deals done, get this behind us, and it's a lot of saber rattling, and I just can't see how this is good for anybody. So I think they're going to have to get deals done.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit more about tech, because you mentioned they've come back, and some of them have, some of them have not. Mm-hmm. It's almost like the Magnificent Seven is split up.
Yep.
What do you see moving forward for this group? Do you think that gap that now exists will continue to grow? Like Apple hasn't caught up, for example, but NVIDIA's pushed past its record high. So I'm just wondering if the gap that with the stocks that haven't caught up yet, if that gap is going to increase.
Oh, okay, that's a good question. I would be more specific though. Like I don't particularly like Apple, but it's nothing to do with catching up or anything like that. I just think the iPhone has kind of run its course, and they're looking for their next big idea, which has not really come to fruition yet, and nobody really knows where Apple's going. So I wouldn't say it's anything to do with that. But you look at a company like NVIDIA, who's literally posting the best quarters they've ever posted. They're hard to believe how good they are. And AI is just, they're the leader in the space. I mean, everything about it just says, let's just keep this going. I mean, you look at, if you kind of compare it to Apple, when Apple was hitting its real highs, a few years ago, you'd think, oh, it can't keep going. It can't go. And it went for another 3 or 4 or 5 years. Yeah. And I kind of think NVIDIA is in that space right now.
They're the leader in value now, right?
They're just so, and the stock doesn't even look that expensive if you kind of do, multiples can be a little expensive, but there's a huge growth there too, and dominance. So it's not that expensive when I look at it.
That being said, you like AMD.
I do like AMD. That doesn't mean I don't like NVIDIA, but I just thought it'd be a little more interesting to look at AMD, and there might be more, upside just because it's not number one. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you remember the company Avis Rental Car Company.
I do, yes.
Their motto used to be, I think it was back in the 80s, trying harder to be number one. Mm. I would kind of say like AMD's like that. They're trying harder to be number one. I don't know that they can actually catch NVIDIA, but they kind of have a niche in what's called this inference. And by the way, I'm just learning this myself, so don't feel bad if you don't know what all these things mean. Inference means they're not building the models, the AI models, which requires huge data and huge analysis. They're taking the models that are already built and then deciding it with new data that's coming in.
Okay.
So, and that's called inference, I guess.
Okay.
And they have an opportunity in that because it's not quite the same computing power that you need for that.
What about Broadcom? You like Broadcom? Tell me about that.
I do like Broadcom too, and I don't feel they compete directly with NVIDIA either. They're more about moving the data and securing the data and doing it in efficiently, so the broadband, and they also have a huge play in software. They're, I think 42% of their revenue is now in software, and a lot of that would be cybersecurity. It's a nice fit, right? Because if they're the ones that are kind of building the network and moving the data, they should also be the ones securing it. And so I think it's a very good, well-rounded play.